We want to shoot a documentary of India, and we've heard that you've been, so could you tell us about where you've been?
I've been to Kakinada, India, which is on the far eastern side of India. In fact, it's on the Bay of Bengal.
Can you tell us about the city of Kakinada and the surrounding villages? Many
of the villages don't have any electricity. They don't have running water. Many of the people live in thatched huts, and when it rains hard, the rain comes down through the roof. There's great poverty. There's prostitution. People who actually live in the streets don't have a home to live in. And sometimes there's whole families that live in the streets.
When I was growing up, so many these street kids in our own neighborhood. Once in a while you hear some people just leaving all of a sudden. And the parents are, they just look for them. Where is my son? Where is my daughter? And later on they will know, okay, he is maybe in Vijayawada or maybe some other city, bigger city, begging for food or sleeping on the streets or something like that, you know. So that is a great need.
Sometimes you run into situations that you find hard to believe. Our very first trip to India, we were in the city of Bhopal and spent the week training pastors at a conference center that was a building, and it was outside of a small village and had kind of a perimeter fence around it. And as I walked outside of that fence and walked around in the villages, I was struck by what I saw. I don't know if the word appalling is the right word, but what I saw was young women scooping up the manure, the fresh manure from the cows in the neighborhood with their bare hands. They would pat that fresh manure into patties, maybe about as big as a large pizza, and then lay them out in the sun to dry. And that dried cow manure then would become the burning material for the stoves in their homes. And I saw no place where they were going to wash up, no place where they were going to get clean. Their clothes, their hands, everything about them was so absolutely contrary to anything we could dream of our daughters, our mothers, our wives handling here in the United States. It was really earth-shaking to me.
Look at the sheer number of people that we have. Last time I looked, we have 1.1 billion people. Majority of them, they are poor people. Poorest of the poor too. If you go to the bus stations or if you go to rail stations, and some people, you see them on the roads, on the pavements, sleeping. If you could do something to them, like providing some basic necessities.
We would go feed at the leper colonies. It's really bad there. And you know, I don't know how they live from day to day, because most of them obviously can't work, because if you could see their hands and their arms and their feet are just deformed, don't have any fingers, or their hands are all deformed.
During one of our trips into the heart of India, we were teaching pastors during the week, and we needed to go into town a couple of times. The conference center was out of town, and so we would drive by the city dump. And each time I would just find myself almost like a distant tourist, just sort of viewing something out there, watching the children in this dump and watching them play. But what they had was a dump, a mound of burnt trash that they were living in. They were naked, they were dirty from top to bottom, almost black from the soot that they were wearing. Their skin was covered, their little faces were covered with soot and dirt and grime and coal dust or whatever it was. It just breaks your heart.
We went to this large public hospital taking fruit to the people, and no air conditioning. They had ceiling fans, but at least half of them didn't work. The conditions are dirty. There was excrement on the floor in some of the rooms, and it's just, like I said, you just have to see it to believe it, and really be there and experience it to really have a decent feel for it.
Education is, because it, as I've been telling you, is the most important aspect. I come from a poor background, very poor background. Because both, as I said, both my father and mother, they were illiterates. And at one point, I could not even pay $50 as the fee, examination fee. So one of my teachers at high school, where he came to my rescue, he paid that examination fee, $50. That is how I could overcome all these obstacles. I'm not from a big, well-educated family or the elite family per se. It's all God's grace.